John McTiernan is an American film director and producer born in 1951. He did not direct after 2003 because he had been in trouble with the authorities for years since 2006, resulting in interim imprisonment and bankruptcy. For Predator and Die Hard, see the same-named retrospectives. He debuted in 1986 with the horror borefest Nomads, for which he also wrote the script. It's about evil Eskimo spirits which for reasons terrorize people, but first and foremost the audience. In an American hospital, a confused patient is admitted and dies shortly after. As the doctor searches for his secret, she discovers strange reeds. In the streets, seemingly dead motorcycle freaks are making trouble. The largely uninteresting psycho-horror mess was quite rightly neither a hit at the box office nor with critics. In 1990, McTiernan once again after Predator and Die Hard had a big hit and franchise starter with Hunt for Red October, about a Russian submarine commander who wants to change sides. This is where CIA analyst Jack Ryan enters the game. The movie is based on a novel by Tom Clancy and got 4 rather moderate sequels and a TV series, with Jack Ryan as main character. From my point of view, uninteresting, undifferentiated propaganda military schlock, which comes off like fantasy when real-world terror organizations like CIA or NSA are portrayed as something else. Red October is well cast and excitingly staged, with very good effects. And as a pure fantasy story, if you completely block out reality, very entertaining. Much like Top Gun, Rambo, Black Hawk Down and other military-sponsored propaganda flicks disguised as movies. Some of the presented facts are simply not true, especially when it pretends that the US or its cunt NATO want de-escalation, stability or peace. Exactly the opposite is true. Since it's public knowledge, they live from war business and started, even officially more than 100, most of the crises themselves. Especially those they pretend to solve by invading other countries, killing millions. In 1992, Medicine Man seemed to be the end of McTiernan's run, box office-wise. The lengthy eco-thriller drama flop made just $45 million worldwide at costs of $40 million. Against a visually impressive backdrop in the Amazon jungle, a doctor successfully searches for a cure for cancer. Sure. Unfortunately, he doesn't find the cure for naive simplicity, one-dimensional characters and a touch of colonialism.
I've never been closer. I tried to understand.
In 1993 follows the miscast Schwarzenegger vehicle Last Action Hero. The $85 million fantasy action comedy made only $137 million worldwide back and was also a flop.
You hesitate, you can't keep on living like this. Leave no track. Don't look back.
Here, 11-year-old Danny gets the chance to enter movies Houdini style with a magic ticket in order to annoy his idol Jack Slater as well as the viewer with his smart assery. Jack doesn't want to believe that he's just a movie character. One of the villains, however, does. He gets hold of the enchanted ticket and now wants to make a career in the real world. What Danny and Jack want to prevent at all costs.
You can take it or leave it. Temptation. But you better believe it.
The bombastic action and the extremely clever hints at the genre are unfortunately often lost in the completely overloaded performance. The tone constantly changes between dead serious and silly. Schwarzenegger, who at the time wanted to change his dull violent movie image, overruled McTiernan and had the script rewritten after he virtually hijacked the project, in which he was actually parodied as Arno Slater. And now, of course, toned down and family friendly,
Screw your freedom.
parodied himself.
Be or not to be? Not to be.
It's just a high cost of loving. You can take it
McTiernan's negative box office trend was temporarily slowed down in 1995 by the success of the excellent third Die Hard, and in 1998 by the Thomas Crown Affair, a remake of the 1968 Norman Jewison classic with Steve McQueen. Both affairs are about a successful businessman who pulls off art heists, bank robberies in the original, as a hobby to prove he can get away with it. An attractive insurance investigator starts an affair and also tries to convict him. The new version is not as violent as the original, has a more sympathetic hero, or what you want to call it, and a different, much weaker ending. Personally, I found both of them pretty boring at the time, as the theme, some spoiled rich snoreheads playing supposedly clever cat and mouse games, doesn't interest me in the slightest. The movie made its nearly 50 million costs 2.5 times worldwide back and at least didn't lose money.
I am Ahmed Ibn Fahlan. I met a beautiful woman
Temptation,
who belonged to another man.
temptation, temptation, temptation,
I was banished from my home,
temptation,
a country far to the north.
temptation, temptation, temptation.
1999 was also the year of the legendary mega flop The 13th Warrior, with estimated costs of $160 million and a worldwide box office of only $61 million. Set in 922, the entertaining fantasy story, with a very good cast in the supporting roles, is about a disgraced nobleman in Baghdad. As punishment, he's sent as an ambassador to the Vikings, where he fights as the prophesied 13th Warrior against the forces of evil. The movie was back then in the cinema for me by far not as bad as many claimed. But also not that good, as many interesting storylines go nowhere and seem to be replaced with more action scenes. Mainly because the Michael Crichton adaptation Eaters of the Dead from 1976 was started by McTiernan but got finished by Crichton himself, after a serious, career-hurting disagreement.
You can take it or leave it. Temptation, but you better believe it.
In 2002, Rollerball rolled quietly in and out of cinemas. The unbelievable awful remake of the same-named classic from 1975 was, with 70 million cost to just 25 million worldwide box office, another huge bomb and rightly steamrolled over by critics. In contrast to the solid original based on the extremely interesting William Harrison short Rollerball Murder, first published in the November 1973 issue of Esquire, it has less social or political tones and focuses more on stupid action, which made already in the original barely sense. It's also set in the present instead of a dystopic future, like in the original, in which bread and games should distract from rewriting history, as seen in 1984, or since 2020 when you simply watch out of your window. In the new movie, it's only about increasing viewer numbers by increasing the accident risk with manipulations.
Step by step and day by day, every second counts. I can't break away. Keep us from temptation. Keep us from temptation.
The producer who greenlit the action thriller wannabe Basic in 2003 also apparently got hit by a rollerball on his head. Till now, the last flop on the list, 50 million cost, 42 million worldwide box office, and an unworthy end to a film career. Basic tries to hide the stupid plot, investigation of an unsolved case of missing soldiers in the jungle, and also one-dimensional characters with pulled out of the head twists and turns. The boring waste of time is similar to Roller Flop, only a star vehicle, and so forgettable I already forgot why I'm sitting in front of my stupid microphone.